YouTube, what the crap's going on? Welcome back to Total War Attila, where I'm going to be jumping into a replay that was submitted by a viewer. It was in the Age of Charlemagne DLC, so I wanted to show it to you all since this is relatively new, give you some more insight. That some of you are like, just stick to the Rome 2, it's better. I know a lot of you prefer the Rome 2 multiplayer, and I think I do too, personally. Though the multiplayer is a lot better in the Age of Charlemagne than it is, in my opinion, over the base game of Attila. So it'd be kind of fun to take a look at this. Again, the Avar player was the submitter, and let's kind of see what he's got set up here. I see two noble lancers and an Avar guard, so some nice shock cavalry. Do be aware that in this mod, I keep saying mod, in this DLC, lancer or shock cavalry use their spear on the charge, and then they fight with the sword. So they are going to be much better versus cavalry on the charge, and then not so much afterwards. So 3 Avar horse archers there. 3 spearmen up front, backed up by, looks like 5 tribesmen, so that's going to be a lot of missile units slash spear units. 1 noble and 2 standard lancers over here, backed up by 2 more Avar horse archers. And then he is teamed up with a Danish player. Yep, so let's see what the Dane has. It looks like a couple spearmen on one flank, 1 over here. The front line is sword herdmen, 2 of them. They are led by, let's see, 2 Viking hunters and, 3 Viking hunters and an archer. And then it looks like there's 4 axe herdmen back here. And then 3 big axes, and indeed the housecarls have come to the battle. These are the beastiest infantry in the Age of Charlemagne, as I understand it. I could be wrong, but I believe they are. Let's see what they're up against over here. So it looks like we have the Kingdom of the Franks, so Charlemagne's empire, and then we've got the Kingdom of Mercia. So let's see what Mercia has. Thane spearmen, so 4 Thane spearmen up front. And then that is a lot of these javelinmen. Feared javelinmen, is that how you say it? So it looks like there's 6 of them. 2 select archers. 3 Thanes, 2 royal Thanes, and a royal companion. Looks like 2 horsemen over here for them as well. Now let's go check out the Frankish troops here. So 3 mounted archers up front. Then what we can see here, let's see, looks like 5 armored swordsmen, 2 mounted swordsmen behind them, a guardsman cavalry general, 3 Frankish cav, 2 armored spearmen being supported by skirmishers. So, interesting. Skirmish advantage in terms of long range will go to the Danes and the Avars. In terms of just hitting power, it's going to go to the team of Mercia and Franks, just because they have so many javelins. And javelins are a pretty hard-hitting skirmish unit, as long as they're not shooting at something that has particularly high armor. Now, the height advantage also goes to Mercia and the Franks. Got some horsemen inbound on these archers. There are some Avar horse archers nearby. If they are in flaming shot, which they are, they can do some damage, though. They are going to need to run, and run fast. They did not run in time, so some of these units are going to die because there was no melee cavalry support here. Though these horsemen are going to pay dearly for having charged this far from support. The Viking hunters, let's see what these guys look like in melee. Just got out some little daggers. Not going to be able to fend off horsemen, but they held long enough that, yeah, I think some pretty severe damage is going to be done to the horsemen here. That one got away fairly well. This one got caught, so if it pulls out now, it's going to pay for it. And I do not think that Mercia ought to be so reckless with their cavalry, especially not when there's so much Avar shock cavalry around. The shock cavalry against swords is going to be extremely good. The Avar horse archers here are going to be able to take the flank, so if they get over here in the flank, they can do a lot of damage to these units, especially all the armored swordsmen. Shooting them from behind would be quite effective. These axe herdmen and the big axes and the housecarls will be able to kill a substantial amount of enemy infantry unless they get shot to death by archers. So I would think that it would be the goal here of Mercia to hang on to all these feared javelin men and the Franks will want to hold on to some ammunition if possible. They're spending quite a bit of ammo right now getting rid of these archers. That might work out to the advantage of the Danes. The Avar horse archers now traveling behind enemy lines. So just got some spears holding up the flank. They must know these Avar lancers are out there as well. Looks like the sword herdmen gonna lead the way. The sword herdmen are some pretty nice sword units. The Danes have some excellent infantry. Now this is bad here. The axe herdmen do not want to be taking this kind of missile fire. They do have shields, and they have, it looks like, decent armor, but that's a lot of missile fire, and then the javelins will probably be fairly punishing here as well. Looks like the block chance on the herdmen is pretty good. Spears connecting with armored spearmen, they're not going to win that. The Dane player getting a little bit overextended here, it looks like. Avar players using their tribesmen to do a little damage, and it looks like they're targeting the back of the sword unit. Very nice job by the Avar horse archers. They will certainly get kills, even though that's armored spearmen shooting from behind, but allowing these mounted archers to fire on them without pulling away is going to be rather costly if they don't get out of there quick. But I mean, getting 10 quick kills on those armored swordsmen were nice. Yeah, now just spreading out and taking this from those archers is not a good plan. Foot archers can put down a lot more fire because they have a lot more men, and it is not smart to sit there and take fire with the Avar horse archers. They cannot withstand much incoming fire. They need to be mobile. But 20 kills on those units, not bad, and they're going to pull away in time to avoid that flaming volley, which is going to work nicely for them. Sword herdmen here are going to get a lot of kills. They are up against 2 units of armored spears, but unless the enemies use their skirmishers, I would think, well, actually the sword herdmen are dropping rather quickly. I don't know if it's because they're getting hit by their own skirmishers in the back. They're starting to pick up a few kills now. These javelin men have now used all their ammo, and there's still a lot of big axes on the field, so that could be dangerous. And it looks like that the Franks are going in an all-out push against the Dane. Don't believe that's a smart move. They have pushed up a lot. Yeah, the sword herdmen here just getting wrecked. I would have thought they would have done pretty well, but maybe outnumbered, or maybe they had a wrong attack order or something like that. But the sword herdmen here not doing well. And then there's going to be armored swordsmen reinforcing, so now they're going to be doing that much worse. So this sword herdman was kind of thrown away. It could have done a lot more. Let's see, so taking a lot of fire from these feared javelin men here, but it's being absorbed by spearmen, which are not a particularly high priority unit for the Mercian player, or the Kingdom of Mercia player. Now these tribesmen do not have a good missile block chance. Even though they have good armor, they are going to take a shellacking because they're getting shot in the flank. They're not going to do much to those armored swordsmen either, so these guys need to be pulled back. So if you're going to be using tribesmen, try not to let them get in a missile standoff. They do have good armor, better than most archers, but they are still vulnerable to missiles just because they don't have a block chance. Still a lot of the feared javelins back here. The Avar horse archers being annoying and actually getting quite a few kills on the royal companions. So these horse archers have hit some high priority targets and done quite nice. The royal thane's now going to take some nasty volleys from behind. Yeah, the mounted archers do have a pretty nice number of kills. They've done some damage, but it hasn't been on some of the most dangerous Danish units, so I'm not sure it's the best use of those archers, even though they are getting kills. Now, I don't know what this archer unit's thinking. This Viking hunter is about to get absolutely raffle-stomped by Thanes, and then these spears, albeit in shield wall, are going to also die to Thanes. There is no doubt about it. But we should see reinforcing troops come forward. Yes, the axe herdmen here, and they ought to do... I think they ought to do nicely against the Thanes. They don't have much defense, though, and the Thanes have very high defense. But the axe herdmen ought to have a stronger charge and more offensive capability. They are only single-handed axes, so this could be questionable, and they're getting hit by fire from behind. The tankiness of the Thanes may pay off here. We'll see. Yeah, it looks like kind of interesting to engage piecemeal here. Now they're going to bring up some feared javelins. Not sure what these guys are going to do other than fire into the backs of their own men. It looks like the axe herdmen are tanking this out versus the Thanes. That's just going to be due to their very superior offensive capabilities. The Thanes are a defensive unit. Tanky unit, meant to kind of tank damage. This axe herdman here is getting destroyed by archer fire. That's actually finally a very nice use of the archers here, I think, by the Frankish player. Taking out a unit that's going to be more dangerous in late game. But the big axes are untouched, the housecarls are untouched, and those units are going to absolutely wreck all over the Kingdom of Mercia. And these javelins are badly needed over here now, where all the big axes are, and they are not there. I wonder what happened to those Avar Lancers. Okay, the Avar Lancers are all the way up here on the hill. Would have been handier to have them down here closer to the fight. But let's just take a look at this. The Axe Herdman's still owning. These big axes just completely destroying an armored swordsman in no time. 72 kills. The Berserkers are going insane, and they have 26 kills. Big axes here. Sword Herdman. And the Housecarls are taking some fire, so they're going to back up, but we're pretty much out of ammo. And now we're going to need to see the Avar Lancers get in here. The Axe Herdman would probably not want to get charged by all that Frankish cavalry. Avar Lancers downhill into the skirmishers, who do not get protected by the swords, so a lot of kills inbound for that Avar Lancer. Pulling out is going to get a ton of them killed. Nice charge, but it was targeting the javelin men, so it's really not going to get many kills on the Thanes there. Let's go back over here and check this out. So big axes here racking up 100 kills already versus the armored swordsmen and the skirmishers. Housecarls are going to take a charge from the Frankish cavalry. I think it unlikely that the Frankish cavalry is going to do much of anything to the Housecarls. They're going to turn around and kill. So those guys actually get caught by a tribesman. Nice job by the Avar player. And again, no ammo left to shoot the Housecarls, so this is going to be a rough infantry fight. And you can see that although the axes do have the low defense values, they have gotten in and done a considerable amount of damage against these units. The armored swordsman did tank this out. Now here comes a lancer charge. This ought to be a pretty good one. These units aren't braced, and so the lancers will get a pretty steady charge there. Yeah, they're picking up some kills. And with the support of this Housecarl, it's going to be a lot of destruction going on here. Look at the Berserkers just going crazy over here. They've caught some archers and other units and are going to be cutting them to bits. These guys are so jacked up on forest shrooms that they don't care who they're killing or whether they're being stabbed or having limbs amputated. They're just going to keep going. This unit's up to 121 kills and climbing. Yeah, all the javelins just not able to get the job done. Now you have Axe Herdmen here surrounding a whole bunch of mounted swordsmen. And the tribesmen here firing flaming arrows in. Very nice job there. Let's check out the Housecarl here. 78 kills. If it gets into this fight, it's going to be absolute destruction. The Avar Guard coming in, helping to finish off the armored swordsmen. Let's see if yeah, here comes the Housecarls. Let's watch this one up close. These guys are going to wreck these armored swordsmen. Decapitation. Probably more decapitations coming. Yep. Gonna be lots of those. So yeah, that unit is just pooping all over them, so almost no men lost. Over here, yeah, the Axe Herdmen and the tribesmen have these Thanes surrounded. I believe these are Thanes, and they're just getting chopped to bits. So this is going to be a very poor engagement for the Kingdom of Mercia. So yeah, Thanes are a defensive unit. They were never intended for an offensive measure like that. So the Frankish cavalry is getting taken out by spearmen. You can see that the cavalry doing some damage, but nothing near as destructive as what it was in the base game. And the cavalry generally will take quite a few losses disengaging. Now, the Save Our Guard here, this thing can put a beat down on the charge. Once in melee, it would actually do fairly decent versus sword units. It does not have much melee defense, which is why when you pull away with these Lancer Cavalry, you tend to take a lot of losses. It's best not to commit your Lancer Cavalry until you have them a target that they will be able to engage, defeat, and then choose a new target. Because pulling out does not work quite the same way in this DLC as it does in vanilla. Again, this Lancer is going to get a nice charge here. This is just a standard Avar Lancer. Well, no, I think it's a Noble Lancer. It is. It's a Noble Lancer. And as they pull out here, their low defense is going to have them taking a lot of damage, plus they're getting shot at. Is that cavalry coming back around for a charge on the Royal Thanes? I don't know what it did, but now it's going to get destroyed. So yeah, the Lancers will drop very quickly in prolonged combat if not used right, or when you're trying to pull out, just because their stats are really not meant for a grind-out fight unless you've hit something from behind. So again, you can see these Avar Lancers here are going to get completely ground down by the Thane Spearmen. But with these axe units around and not enough ammo to kill them on this one select archer, it is going to be certain death for the Thanes. These big axes here, 223 kills, 113 here. The big axes are kind of a poor man's housecarl here. You can only bring the one housecarl unit, which is the general, so yeah, but that unit is definitely going to get the job done. Here comes some axe herdmen. So these guys are going to get into the spears to start off with. And then let's see if the housecarls make an appearance here in this last infantry fight. Got some armored swords, it looks like here. Yeah, the berserkers are actually going to have the field day here too. I think they will do very nice versus these. These are either Thanes, they might be Royal Thanes actually. Yep, they are. So yeah, these Royal Thanes are going to get beat up pretty bad by the berserkers. The berserkers just have really high charge. Their numbers are lower, but their charge and their offensive stats are insane. Plus there's some Avar, looks like Avar guard to support them. The housecarls are like slowly taking their time to get around. They really want a flanking maneuver here. When charging them straight in, honestly, they would have just absolutely beasted it up. But yeah, the housecarls heading off maybe to go find the next engagement. You can see here the big axes are going to take damage very quickly to the select archers, but like I said, there's just not enough ammo left in those select archers. You have horse archers up here who still have ammo. So what's left of the enemy here is going to be in very rough shape. The axe herdmen will do very well versus these Thane spearmen. Berserkers are chasing these routing units, flailing their swords in the air, stabbing this poor bloke before he could get away. And these guys might want to keep running because that housecarl is close by. And it looks like we're going to end up with a final engagement coming up very quickly here. These big axes are going to move in. These guys got a lot of kills. Very nicely done. And the Avar Guard has 159 kills to only 2 losses as well. So very nice performance by the Avar Guard. And it's going to get a devastating rear charge into these Thane Spearmen. Bit of an awkward charge, but it is going to get the job done. You can see them pitching some of these archers here. So yeah, that ought to rout the Thane Spearmen. It will. So the Avar Guard's picking up kills at a very rapid pace. It has a sword weapon. On the charge, it gets all that 114 charge bonus, and then for up to 30 seconds, you get continued charge bonus. So the Avar Guard will be very deadly after the charge. That was a fun battle. I appreciate the folks sending that in. The gameplay is very different in the Kingdom of Charlemagne DLC in terms of multiplayer, and I do like it for the most part. It's not perfect, but for the most part, it is quite a lot better than the base game, in my opinion, when it comes to multiplayer. Avar Noble Lancers here, very nice kills. Same thing in the Avar Guard. Very well done. The tribesmen are more of a distraction usually in these matches, and some nice kills here on a few of the horse archers as well. A few of them getting over 100 kills, which is a pretty good performance. Now, if you look here, again, these mounted archers did get a pretty decent number of kills. What I'm questioning is what they killed and whether or not it was worth it in the end, because the big axes and the housecarls are going to be your danger. I think it's actually easier to deal with shot cavalry than it would be to deal with those infantry units personally. So if we take a look here at the Dane player, picking up a ton of kills, I'm sure, because of the infantry. 294 on this big axe, 191 on that axe herdman, very nice. 315 kills in this unit of berserkers here. That is absolutely insane. And then the housecarl barely scathed with 150 kills as well. So very nice performance. Let's look at Mercia here to see which units did the best. Now some of these javelin men got a surprisingly large number of kills. I don't know how much they cost. Let's see. Thanes, a couple of them getting a decent number of kills, but for the most part they just got outmatched by the Danish infantry. So Danish infantry, it's there for the win. Hope y'all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.